On October 7, 2001, a little less than a month after the most devastating terrorist attack on American soil, President George W. Bush announced that U.S. and British forces had launched airstrikes on the Taliban and al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. Nearly 20 years later, we have an entire generation of young adults for whose basically their entire lives, or nearly all of them, my kids included, we have always been at war in Afghanistan. Just think about that for a moment. Because the question that we're compelled to ask is, at what cost? For how long? And for what benefit that justifies continuing to make our troops keep paying that cost a generation later? Well, now the end of America's endless war is finally in sight. Speaking from the same spot where President Bush informed the country that military strikes had begun, President Biden announced today that the U.S. military presence in Afghanistan is ending.
The United States will begin our final withdrawal, begin it on May 1 of this year. We'll not conduct a hasty rush to the exit. We'll do it responsibly, deliberately, and safely. I know there are many who will loudly insist that diplomacy cannot succeed without a robust U.S. military presence to stand as leverage. We gave that argument a decade. It's never proved effective. Not when we had 98,000 troops in Afghanistan, and not when we were down to a few thousand. Our diplomacy does not hinge on having boots in harm's way, U.S. boots on the ground. We have to change that thinking.
At the time the war began, 88% of Americans supported the mission, which makes sense due to the emotional shock of 9/11. But by 2019, more than 4 in 10 Americans thought it was a mistake. Shortly after his announcement, President Biden made an emotional trip to Arlington National Cemetery, visiting the section where many of the U.S. troops who died in Afghanistan and Iraq were buried.
Look at them all.
Nearly 2,400 Americans have died in Afghanistan, and more than 20,000 have been wounded in action. NATO allies, in coordination with the White House, announced their own imminent withdrawals from Afghanistan. President Biden called former Presidents Bush and Obama to inform them of his decision. President Obama issued a statement commending the decision, saying it was time to turn the page. Republican voters under Trump jettisoned their once dogmatic belief in foreign intervention for an America First doctrine. But that didn't stop some Washington Republicans from slamming Biden's announcement.
Unfortunately, this mistake in Afghanistan is one of several instances of this new administration surrendering leverage without making America, our allies, or our interests more secure.
We know that this kind of a pullback is reckless, it's dangerous, it puts American security at risk. It will provide an opportunity for terrorists to be able to establish safe havens again.
There are no great outcomes, but this is the worst possible outcome, is to pull up and leave and hope that things will turn out well.
The end of one of America's longest foreign interventions would allow the president to shift his focus to emerging threats from countries like China, Russia, and North Korea.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.